Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. It is great to see so many people here early. I am really pleased to see that after having missed a week when I was laid up last week. And I am so excited for today's conversation with John, the skeptic.
Hello, I'm so pleased to be here.
And we both have our Lisa
Yeah.
the Rainbow Giraffe shirts on.
Yeah, this happened completely by accident. The fact that we're both wearing the same. We probably should have messaged each other saying, "What are you wearing today?" Because I don't want to clash. You know, it's fine. We'll go with it.
And in the chat today, we have Brandon Larimore. Welcome, Brandon, and Beck. It's good to see you again, Beck. Mage Grey Wolf, how's the garden going? Maya Adkinson, hello, Maya. Godless Scummer and the Godless Scummer. Okay, that's who I can see right now.
Great. Hello to you.
Okay, I'm going to begin the conversation by asking you a little bit about your journey into skepticism.
Okay. Oh, I'm nervous. No, I'm not. Hit me. I love talking about it.
So tell me, how did you become? Where did you start from? Let's start with that.
So I didn't really ever have a religious upbringing. I was lucky in that sense. I never really believed that there was a God as such, but I did grow up in a family who believed they could speak to dead people. So more of a spiritualist background is what I've got.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was strange. I was taught a lot of things about the afterlife and how I would eventually be able to communicate with people on the other side. I clearly suffered some emotional trauma when I was a child and heard voices. And whenever I would bring that up with my parents or my gran, she was the main one who was telling me that I'd be able to speak to dead people. They would say it's because I was a clairaudient. And I've got the gift, and it skips a generation. And my mother was very jealous that she couldn't speak to dead people, but I would have the gift when I was ready for it. I grew up terrified of the dark. Because I thought there were dead people waiting to talk to me. So that was horrific when I was 7, 8 years old. I used to sleep with the duvet pulled up over my head, and I'd make like a little gap under the duvet so that I could breathe, because otherwise it'd get too hot underneath this big thick, because I grew up in the south of England where it's cold in the winter. So I had this little hole that I breathed through, and I would shut my eyes and turn the light off because I was so scared that there would be a dead person waiting. So that's where I came from. A background in clairaudience. Those dead people are very chatty. I used to believe that I could hear children playing outside when it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'd wake my parents up and say, "I can hear people. Can you tell them to keep the noise down?" They couldn't hear anything, so they would just convince me that it's the dead people that I could hear. How scary is that when you're a young child, and you've got dead people waiting for you?
Yeah. You never saw them though, did you?
I believed I did a couple of times, but hallucinations are a real thing, and you explain things in a way that makes sense to you at the time. So at the time when I thought I saw a man walk actually physically through a door, I told my mother and my gran at the time, and they said, "Oh yeah, that would be your mum's spirit guide that you just saw." How would they know what that person was? How would they know? But so yeah, I believed I saw a few things growing up. It was more the audible side of things was what I suffered with. But I had a apparently very stressful childhood, and that's your brain plays tricks on you when you're young. So that's where I came from. I didn't really believe that there was a governing body looking out for the dead people. I just thought there were dead people, and when we die, we become we live on in a spirit realm. I obviously don't believe that now. I think it's very silly. So the Sixth Sense, yeah, that's exactly. Bruce Willis played me. Wait, no, because he was dead. Never mind. No, he didn't. I was the kid. So that's where I came from. And I would go to spiritualist readings with my mum. She was more into it than my dad. Maybe my dad still believes in some deity. I don't think he never goes to church. And religion over in the UK is far smaller than it is in this country. But yeah, so I went to a few spiritualist readings, and I don't know if would you have had Most Haunted was a show in the UK, and it was where people would go and check out the most haunted buildings. And I'll get to that in a second. It's the skeptic in a coffin. I saw Most Haunted came out, and it was mediums speaking to dead people on camera and them trying to get capture paranormal activity on camera to go, here's proof that it's real. So I really got into that, and I was still a believer in the afterlife at that point. So that was almost my going to church, was watching these medium programs and starting to want to learn to how to speak to dead people. And that's essentially where I crossed over, when I was at a stage where I felt ready and that I wanted to be able to converse with the dead, and I built myself up and I was ready to have these conversations, and I started researching how I could tap into my medium self and my spiritual self, and learn how to control being able to speak to dead people. And as I went down that route, I then discovered how ridiculous it actually is, and never actually believed that much after then. So there you go. That's where I came from.
Okay. Did you go to college in the UK?
So I went to college, but that's different to university. There's like you go to high school, and then you go to like a couple of years of college, and then after then you go to a further education, which is university, or what Americans call college. So I stopped. I got to 18, which was like the 2 years of college, and then I quit. But I've got a background in theatre, so that's what
cool.
I learned. I'm an actor and musical performer. So I learned all that side of stuff.
Henry M. asks, why is America still a very religious country compared to other technologically advanced countries?
I think it's hard for people to let go of something that comforts them.
Yeah, I think
there are a lot of people in this country who, when you've got more people like that mass, that herd mentality of being scared of what happens, they're all just going to like G each other up and go, it's okay, we live on in another life and there's a God that will look after us. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to let that go.
Steel Rain says in Columbus, Ohio, there was a spiritualism church right downtown, in the downtown area, not far from the main library.
Nice. And I'm actually I can see Ohio most days because I live here in northeast Kentucky, and I live along the Ohio River, so I see Ohio. I do wonder what it would be like in a spiritualist church on this side of the pond, because over in the UK it's very much people just sit around and there's like 4 or 5 people at the front and they give readings, but the way it's all done is just picking random things and hoping that something sticks. And when somebody goes, oh, that could be my grandmother, I'm picking up a name that begins with M. Oh, my grandma's called Mary. That's her. Well, Mary's got a message for you. These people never gave like in-depth messages. It was always, they're watching you, and are you learning something at college? And they go, no, I'm not learning at college. Well, someone in your family is going to college and they just said they're going to do well. Well, of course they're going to do well because they're going to college and that's what they want to do. You don't go to college to fail. It's all these tricks and tips that I've picked up. I could probably become a spiritualist medium and make a lot of money from it. I just wouldn't, because it's a horrible way to make money when you just tell people what they want to hear.
So what caused you to give up the belief in the spiritualism?
So it was first of all the researching how to become a medium. I wanted to do it, but as I got into it, I realized that it was actually a load of nonsense. There's no way that you could. But there was, I spoke about this yesterday actually. There was a defining moment when I said, I can't believe this anymore. I'm a runner, and a lot of my friends back in England liked running as well, and we train together and we'd sign up for races together. And there was one guy, a friend of mine called Russell, who was, in his words, overweight. We didn't think he was overweight, but he wanted to lose some weight. He wanted to start running. He wasn't as healthy as he could be. So we all trained for this. It was only a 10-kilometer run. And he'd been training for weeks, and I'd been going out with him, helping him to get ready for this race. And on the day, everybody's excited, and Russell's like, I can't believe I'm going to run 10K for the first time. And we all went off. I finished fairly quick because I'm 6'2" and I've got long legs, so I finish races fairly fast. Russell, about 20 minutes later, started coming down towards the finish line, and 100 meters from the end, I don't know what that is in feet. Sorry, I'm British. I use metric. 100 meters from the end, collapsed and died. He died.
Oh my goodness.
He died there and then. And I was still on the edge of, like, I'd been trying to research it. I wanted to become this medium, and I thought the only thing that I can do now, and this will prove that this is real to me, is I will find Russell's dead spirit floating around and tell his spirit to go back to his body. And that's how I'll save the day. Fortunately, a friend of ours was a trained medic, so he's giving Russell CPR. Whilst I'm looking around, because what else can I do? I'm standing there. Kieran was giving CPR, and I just kept looking around for Russell's spirit to say, Russell, you need to get back in your body because everybody's worried about you. And the more I looked, the less I saw. I couldn't see anything. There you go, about 328 feet. Thank you. That sounds about right. And I thought, Russell and I were good friends. If Russell was going to speak to anybody after he died, in that moment, because there are a few people he knew, but I had the gift, so he's going to speak to me, and I will tell him to go back into his body. And I looked around, and there was nothing. And fortunately, 7 minutes after he died, he was resuscitated, but he'd been dead for 7 minutes. So that was 7 minutes that I could have seen his spirit. And at that moment, I went, I can't believe in this anymore, because if it was going to have happened, that would have been the moment it would have definitely happened, no questions asked. And it was that day that I said, that's it, I'm done with this. It was a hard time. It was hard to come to that realization.
How old were you?
Early 20s.
Okay.
No, late 20s.
Okay.
I started looking into the medium stuff when I was in my early 20s. So that's kind of when I stopped with my belief. But it was, I think I was about 28 maybe when I did that race. And that was it. That was the deciding moment. That was the defining moment when I said, I can't believe this anymore. And it was hard. It was hard.
I imagined.
You saw the long, dark tea time of the soul. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's a very British thing. And Russell, actually, he is, and was at the time, full atheist, didn't believe in anything spiritual at all. And we'd have conversations, because I'd say, well, I don't believe in God. No, Russell, but I do believe there are like spirits and stuff. And he would scoff at me. So that was also like another thing. If Russell saw that he was he could be a ghost, he would come to me and say, actually, John, you were right. I can be a dead person. I can talk to you. But yeah, he didn't. And I've since spoken to Russell several times about it. And he said it just went black. And then he woke up in a hospital, and there was no NDE. He didn't have any experience at all. He died, and then he woke up somewhere else, and he has no recollection of what happened in between. So
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Sure,
My apologies to everyone. My internet is cutting in and out, and I apologize for that.
I'll keep talking if that happens.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to say.
So how did you come to move across the pond?
So my wife is from Kentucky, and we met online in 2019, in mid 2019, and we've been talking for a couple of weeks just online, and she said, do you want to come and spend the 4th of July with me? How spontaneous are you? And I went, yeah, go on then. So we'd been talking for 2 weeks just on text, and I flew over and I spent 5 days with her, and I went, oh, this is the girl I want to marry. And then we did long distance for a few years, and then I moved here in September last year. So I've been in Kentucky for just over a year now, which is good.
Oh, so you live in Kentucky?
Yeah, I'm here in Kentucky, so it's Bible Belt. It's great.
Yeah, you're right near the Ark.
Yeah, I'm about an hour away from the Ark.
Oh wow!
And I do want to go there. I was. This is something that I get asked a lot, actually. I would go there, but I don't want to give them any money. So
yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, if I got a free ticket to go to the Ark, I'd totally go there.
I live 4 hours from Dinosaur Adventureland, Kent Hovine's park,
Yeah.
and that is free. So I could go there without spending a
Oh,
dime.
that would be great.
However, I've told a number of people I would not go there without a bodyguard.
Right. Yeah.
I would be physically afraid to go there as an
Right.
atheist by
Yeah.
myself. I'm a very small person.
Right. Yeah. I know that. I've met you.
Yeah.
You are. You're very small.
And
Oh, then she vanished. Well, so I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Oh, Kent
I'm
actually.
rather
Oh, there you are. Oh no, she's gone
there.
again. There we go. You're back. There you are. You're back.
Anyway, I tell people I'm afraid of dogs, not because I'm afraid they're gonna bite me. I'm afraid they're gonna knock me over.
That's fair. My dog would as well. She's a bundle of energy. Kent actually whacked me back in now how long ago was it? Maybe
Oh,
3 or 4
cool.
months ago. Yeah. It's one of those rites of passage, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You get
It's one that Godless Scummer and I were gonna team up to do something to try to get him to whack us, but I have
right.
not yet found the right video to respond
You
to for that.
should. You absolutely should. It's
Mm.
hilarious. And my wife she loves this sort of stuff. She's not a content creator herself, but the morning I woke up and Atheist Junior,
Mhm, mhm,
he tweeted me saying Kent whacked you because he sees everything that Kent Hovind does.
mhm.
And so my wife and myself and my 8-year-old stepdaughter that morning put it on the big TV, and we're sitting there eating our breakfast, all three of us watching Kent whacking the SkepTick. It was very amusing. So I can officially say I've been whacked by Kent Hovind. What's that? Sorry, Maya. I just
Oh,
like to
no.
talk.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Mm. Okay, my big question I have been dying to ask you.
Okay,
I think Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe was absolutely brilliant. How
thanks.
did you come up with Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe?
So this is a great story. I had been toying with deities, and every now and then, like I you take a Christian story and you apply it to your own deity just to show how silly it is and how easy it is to go, well, this applies to your God, but it could also apply to Colin the Purple Walrus. And I think that was one of my, before Lisa, one of my deities. And I think I came up with 3 or 4, and none of them really sort of stuck. And I said, I want, it was like an orange panda, a purple walrus, something, silly things like that. And one day I just went, I need to do something bright and colorful. I'm going to go for something rainbow. And I just saw a picture of a giraffe. And I was like, oh, a giraffe, a rainbow giraffe. And I said to my wife, what name would you call a giraffe that was rainbow colored? And she just instantly went Lisa. I was like, okay, where'd that come from? There's an artist who does rainbow colored animals, and so she's kind of named after that lady. Her
Mm.
name's Lisa. Is it Lisa Frank or something? Something like that.
Oh, yeah, Lisa Frank does, yes, very colorful animals.
There you
Mhm.
go. So that's where that came from. So she's kind of, I don't know if Lisa Frank would be pleased with that, but whatever. But so yeah, it stuck one day, and I said Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, and then that was it. She stuck. It then took me maybe another 2 or 3 months to come up with the leaf be upon her. I covered a video with a Muslim street preacher, and
Mhm.
every time he said the Prophet Muhammad, he'd
Hamid.
follow, yeah, he'd follow with peace be upon him. And I was
They're
like,
required to do that.
that's it. But I was like, there's something in this. And
Mhm.
it was in one of those videos. Every time he said peace be upon him, I just said leaf be upon her. And it just stuck. And it's now one of those things that's what I'm known for when I'm on other people's channels. It's always leaf be upon her or leaf be upon him. I get tweets with it all the time. There you go, Lisa. It's hilarious. And that's it. She's now the mascot for my channel. Leaf be upon.
Mhm.
It's so funny. I love it.
I also think it was absolutely a brilliant idea to, people who do paid, comments,
Mhm.
that Lisa will bestow leaves upon them.
Right. Yeah.
I said, "I've got a comment just so I could get a leaf from
And
Lisa.
that
I want a leaf
well,
from Lisa."
it wasn't that long ago that it was uh, a super thanks. That's what it is. And it's like a tip that you get on your videos. And I saw this thing come up, and I went, how can I like encourage people to do it? I don't need to have it, but it would be fun to do. And so in one video when it just had come out, I was like, well, the only way to support Lisa, leave be upon her, is to offer a super thanks, so she'll bestow leaves upon you. And I did it as a joke. I didn't think anybody would do it. And the following week, I had like 4 or 5 people who had like done these super thanks. So I was like, wow, Lisa's got to say thank you. And now every time I do it, more people donate. So then more people are in the following week. And now it's just like snowballing out of control. I've had like 15 to 20 people some weeks who have donated through a super thanks. And I want to say thank you to them all. So I now do that. There was one week that I forgot to do it. And the following week, 0 people had donated to the super thanks because the reminder wasn't there. So I was like, right, well, I'm going to try and bring this back. And ever since then, every week people are like, thanks, and I love this. It's so funny. I love it. I've accidentally started my own religion.
Yep, you
which
did.
is fine. This is absolutely fine. Oh, we've lost her again. The first time. Oh, there we go.
When I sent mine in, the next time I watched one of your videos, I didn't get a thank you. I said, did I miss a video? I must have missed a video. And sure enough, I looked and I had missed a video. So then I had to go back and watch the other one where I got my thanks.
What a great way to get people to watch more of your videos. Because that's what YouTube wants. It wants you to watch as many of that person's videos as possible. So that's where it is. Oh, thanks, Godless Scummer. Lots of rainbows. I don't know how this has happened, but I'm going for it. Oh yeah, that nerve. She might not even have one because she's a cosmic super giraffe who doesn't need a laryngeal nerve. I don't know. Maybe.
I've always associated.
We've lost her again. I think maybe if you. Oh, she's back again. I was going to say, if you want to leave a super thanks for Granny to help her with her internet, now's a good time to do it. There you go. Well done, Jason Kinnaman.
Thank you very much, Jason Kinnaman. The problem actually with my internet is that the connection is in the next room.
Oh, okay. And it's got a very thick wall to go through by the looks of things because it keeps doing it.
But the acoustics in the next room are terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I always go from, but it's not usually this bad. I've never had it this bad before.
Maybe it's me. Let's just blame me.
Oh, I was going to blame the weather.
Oh, okay. Well, all that, yeah. Down in Alabama, not a chance. It's so warm down there. It's got to be lovely.
It is fairly warm. We are in the northern part of the state, so it does get cool.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not really sure why the internet is acting up the way it is. Usually it does this during a thunderstorm.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, listen, you're in good company because I was supposed to be on Dave Warnock's show yesterday. And I did do his show, but he didn't turn up because his internet was out. So there you go.
Okay, let's move on to your channel. When did you start your channel?
I started my channel in March 2021. I knew that I was going to be moving to the States, and I knew that I was moving to a very religious part of America. So being an atheist in the UK, you talk about it and people don't bat an eyelid. But I thought, I'm going to America and I'm going to be in a place where they may look down on me for not having a belief in a God. So I'm going to need some way some outlet for my atheism. And I'd been on YouTube. I had another channel on YouTube that I started in 2010. And I did a video every day on that channel for 5 years. I got about 7,000 subscribers on there, and I was like, oh, okay, this is fun. But I was getting maybe sort of 200, 300 views a video. It wasn't a lot. So I kind of gave up on that channel. But what I learned from it, I applied to this new channel, and I just went with it. So I started in March 2020, and I wrote and edited 8 videos. And oh, well done, Maya. There you go. That should help. Let's get Granny an upgrade. Super fast broadband by the end of 2022. I wrote, recorded, edited 8 videos. 3 of them were like flat earth videos because I thought I'm going to see what works on my channel. I'm not very good at flat earth stuff. So thank goodness I stopped with those 3. But there are 3 flat Earth videos on my channel, should anybody want to go and see them. And the other 5 were on religion. And I mean, I didn't have a religious background, but I do find it fascinating when it comes to people's beliefs. So I just took apart 5 videos. They are not very long. They're maybe like 10 or 11 minutes long each. And I uploaded those. The first weekend in March was my first video, and I just left these 8 videos to do their thing. And after 5 weeks, so I still had 3 videos left. I was checking the analytics to see what was working. And I could see that the religious videos were getting more views than the flat earth ones. Thank goodness. So I went, okay, I'm going to write a couple more and just see how it goes. And the more I did it, the more I was just enjoying it and having such a good time. So that's when I started interacting with other folks. And I said to you before we started the show that you are one of the very first people that I interacted with as the SkepTick on one of your live streams, and you were asking for you wanted some video clips. I never ever got around to recording the video clip for whatever it was, but I was like, yeah, I really want to get involved and I want to do all this stuff, but I didn't. And then I moved, and I kind of got a bit busy with trying to do the videos for this and living a new life in a new country. But so I got to about 400 subscribers in about 6 months, and I thought, oh, this is good. This will do. And then I saw a video where Kent Hovind was he was whacking Simon Dan, who was one of the main reasons I got into the style of content creation I got into, because I saw Dan's he took a video and he'd just jump in and offer his opinion on it and why he didn't accept it. That was completely what I wanted to do in a slightly different way, which is why I've got the animated circle. So I did this video for Simon Dan, and it was November last year. And Dan saw it and said, listen, every 6 months I take 2 weeks off. And in those 2 weeks, I get another creator to cover a video for me. Would you like to be one of those videos? I showed my wife. I was so overexcited, and I said, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work really hard and make it a great video. It was an okay video. I ended up doing Ray Comfort, doing some street preaching and trying to convert an atheist who wasn't an atheist, clearly. SkepTick, I sent you a picture of Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe painting I found. Oh, there you go.
I've got it in my messenger, and I'll go ahead and work on getting it up. It's going to take me a minute to transfer it from my phone to my computer.
That's fine. I've got plenty to say. So I did the video for Simon Dan, and he said it'll be going live in January. So that was like, oh, I've got 2 months to wait. What am I going to do? And I just kept churning out videos. I managed to hit my 1,000 subscribers on the 1st of January this year. And that was also my 4,000 watch hours. And those are the requirements you need to monetize your content. So I was over the moon that happened. And then 2 weeks after I hit my 1,000, Simon Dan released his video, and overnight I jumped from just over 1,000 subscribers to nearly 4,000. And it was insane. And that was the start of the snowball of the SkepTick channel. So it took me 9 months to get to 1,000, and I'm hoping that I close out 2022 with 25k. I'm very close to hitting 25k subscribers, which is insane. For 1 year on YouTube is to go from 1 to 25k is crazy. But I love it, and I'm meeting so many people, and the commenters that I talk to regularly. I interact with loads on Instagram and Twitter now, and it's just being this community. I'm just part of a community of people who love Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe. Leave be upon her, and I can't believe this is happening. And I think if it continues the way it's going, YouTube could be my full-time job by the end of next year, if it continues in this upward trend. It might not. It might stall in the middle of next year, but hopefully not. Hopefully it's going to be an income for me, and I can do this full time. Which I mean, I pretty much do this full time anyway, because I stand in this box. This is why I'm in a coffin. I'm actually a professional voiceover. So this is why I've got my equipment and my booth and everything, because I record commercials for companies in the UK. And so I was getting paid to use my voice, and I thought I might as well just use my voice on something else and animate it in a circle. So that's, it all ties in together. But yeah, that's why I'm in this coffin, this soundproof coffin, which isn't that soundproof. My wife and stepdaughter can hear me. But yeah, there you go. That was a long-winded story. I'm sorry. I do talk a lot.
Oh, that's perfectly okay, because in the meantime, I finally figured out how to get this picture that
Oh,
Johnny sent
really?
me. I don't know why I didn't think of this early. My brain is not totally working on what to do.
Right.
But here, I should be able to put it on share screen.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
Here it is. Oh, sweet. Oh, look at all the... Okay. Oh, yeah, I like that. Well, she's getting around, this deity. I mean, if that's not proof that there's a cosmic rainbow giraffe, I don't know what is. But yeah, so that's how I got into YouTube. I just needed an outlet, really. I knew that I was coming to a very religious country, and I just needed some way of getting out my atheism, and it's turned into this, and it's hilarious, and I love it. And I get to meet so many nice people and hang out on their streams, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm never going to stop loving it.
So how long have you been doing this? You probably have already said that, but I think I missed it.
Oh, well, my SkepTick channel since March last year. So
Okay.
Coming up to 2 years in March, almost 2 years. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. There's always content coming out. There's always something to talk about. And there's an absolute goldmine of of people making very outlandish claims on the internet. But doing this has led to other things as well. I just recently was announced as a new host on Truth Wanted. So I'm one of the regular hosts. I mean, Dan still objectively Dan still is the main host, but there's I'm joining MD and Aaron, ex-Christian Aaron, as one of the 3 sort of side hosts. So that's going to be cool. So I'm now a member of the ACA and volunteer for them as well. And that's all just through doing my SkepTick channel, which is hilarious. I think Tick talks for a living. Hello. Yes, that is my job. My poor wife, a voiceover person. I used to hate the sound of my own voice. I honestly, it took me probably 2 or 3 years to actually start going, do you know what? I don't mind it anymore. Now that's it. I do look like I'm in a modified closet. That's exactly what this is. There used to be clothes hanging here, and I took out the rail, raised up the shelf, and padded it all out. There's just a curtain. There's like a whole spare room in there. There's a sofa bed. There's a mess of stuff. Thanks, Mark. There you go. That's how you can find me.
Your link tree is also in the description.
Oh, thank you.
And so from that, anyone can find your channel from that as well.
Great. Yeah. And there's Twitter on there as well, but we don't know how long that's going to last anymore, do we? Thanks, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't either.
But I really appreciate that you've got a Lisa t-shirt. That's amazing. And that's another thing, like, you don't think about all these extra things that YouTube brings along. Yes, you get to make content, and you can monetize the content, and if that's how you make a living, great. But then there's all these other little side things. You can sell merchandise, and people will wear your stuff, and that's why I wanted to make Lisa as bright and colorful as possible, because I want this to be not just something that all atheists wear, but young people will wear this as well, because it's bright and colorful, and kids will represent Lisa. And there is actually a version of Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe as like a kid's toy plushie kind of thing. She's like all round. It's brilliant. Yeah, she's great. I was
looking at the coffee cups. I might get a coffee cup.
I need a coffee cup as well. I'm terrible. The only thing I've got is this t-shirt. I need to start getting my own merchandise, because you can't promote it if you're not wearing it yourself. Wait a minute. If I put my bottle down, there we go. This is what she looks like. So in Giraffe we trust. This is actually a prototype. This isn't like the one you've got, because there's this purple line that accidentally made it on. That you've got the proper one. You've got the real one. Yeah. Me and my wife have the only two that have the extra purple stripe on them. That's fine. You know, we like to be unique. And I wear these whenever I go to conventions now. I wear these, and where did you get that? Lisa plush should be a gold mine. That's next. I've got some things in the pipeline. I want to write my own Lisa Bible, where I take all of like the big parts of the Old Testament and rewrite it as though Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe is the god, but she doesn't do anything bad. She wouldn't drown an entire like world civilization. She would take them all windsurfing. You know, if there's going to be water involved, it's going to be water sports. It's going to be fun stuff. She won't turn anybody into salt. She will take them to a salt lick. You know, these sorts of things. So I'm going to rewrite the entire Old Testament, but for Lisa. Paulo Gia's cartoon of you spot on. That's true. I'm covered for a Paulo Gia video with Emma Thorne. And he asked for a photo, so I sent him a picture, and that's how he does them. So there we go. I just this is a very good question. Why did I move to the US? My wife imported me. My wife, who's also an atheist, and she's I need to be quiet because my mother-in-law's here, who is very religious, and she doesn't like that I do this. She knows that I do it. She's not a big fan of it. But so my wife came from a very religious upbringing, and she's a lawyer. So she went to law school, and during law school that she started applying her critical thinking to the Bible and God belief. And that's when she started stepping away from religion. And she's more into it than I am now. She watches videos and reads things and comes to me with information. Did you know this?
Cool.
No, I had no idea. So she's great. She's so supportive of all this.
I have a law degree also, but I never applied critical thinking to religion during law school.
Oh, okay.
Partly because I went to a Baptist law school.
No way. That's insane. That's cool.
I went to Baylor Law School. Now, the law school itself was not officially Baptist. You could have any belief you wanted. They had no requirements for the professors. Nothing was ever said about religion except in the context of like the First Amendment.
Right.
But the university was very much Baptist.
Right.
And there was a running joke that Baylor was a very well-endowed school. I went entirely through law school on a half tuition scholarship just because there's so many scholarships available that anyone that's got a B average or better is on a scholarship.
Oh, wow. We can fill in the rest of the story as Granny gets back her internet. We can just make up. Oh, there she is.
Somebody asked, I wonder what would happen if someone offered Baylor $1 million donation with the condition that they have a champagne reception. Because they don't allow alcohol on campus.
Wow, yeah, of course. That's crazy. So you practiced law do you still practice law, or is that something you stopped then?
My husband was in the Army. And so when I first went to law school, my idea was to get out. Or, when I got out of law school, I was thinking of joining the Army as a JAG officer.
Okay.
But I clerked for the JAG, and I did not like the way they ran their law at all.
Right.
A lot of their lawyers were really piss poor lawyers.
Oh, wow.
Not all of them. Some of them were brilliant people, but some of them were really piss poor lawyers.
Wow. Okay.
And I also, I wasn't sure with some of my spinal problems if I could even pass a physical to get in to begin with, which I now know that I never could have. If I had applied, I'd been turned down because I could not meet the physical requirements.
Right.
So then I had to try to find a way to merge a law career with my husband's career, which was extremely difficult. And there was no way I could do that doing what I wanted to do, which was practicing trial law.
Right.
So I worked for an insurance company instead.
Oh,
and my best grade, the one class that I got the high A on was insurance law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I said, all right, it makes sense for me to go into insurance. So I worked for insurance companies.
Oh, cool. Huh. Right. And I don't know when you stepped away from religion. Have you been?
It was just 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Right.
And the Ark Park had something to do with it, and my son had a lot to do with it.
Right.
Part of it I came on my own. The first real fracture to my faith was I had been a Calvinist, and the
Right.
Calvinist perspective is that God chooses who gets into heaven, who is going to be saved.
Huh.
And for the first time in my life, I thought about that on the flip side.
Right.
If God chooses who goes to heaven, that means God chooses who goes to hell.
Right.
And I ended up reasoning myself into the divine hiddenness problem, and I didn't even know that that's what I had done until
Right.
about 6 months ago when Stand to Reason put out 10 questions for atheists and had people and I watched his analysis of my answer, and when he heard me describing the thought process I went through, he said, "That's the divine hiddenness problem. She just doesn't know the vocabulary."
Wow. That's so cool. Wow. Okay. Well, and 3 years is not that's not long to have moved away from it. That's
Well,
yeah, that's
that changed me from a Calvinist to a Universalist,
okay.
and I came up with my own theology, which was, it really is unfair to send anyone to hell without a full, informed opportunity to decide if this is what you want.
Sure.
And so I came up with the theology that after we die, we go before God, and God lays it all out,
Right.
explains everything perfectly and gives you a choice.
Right.
So that was my theology at that point. And
Wow.
then my son said to me, Mom, the flood never happened. And I was like, "What? What do you mean
Yeah.
the flood never happened?"
Yeah.
And my son said, "Well, for one thing, the methane gas from the poop would have killed all the animals."
Yeah.
And I knew a little bit about that because there were pig farms in the area where we used to live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Mhm.
And I had been told by one of the pig farmers, if you close
Oh, oh, what a time to die there. What a
the
time for the
barn.
internet to go out. There we go.
How much of that did you
It
get?
would just the pig farmers if you and then you cut out. If you
Oh, okay. If you close the doors to the
yeah.
barn where you keep the pigs will all die.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to have constant ventilation.
Mhm.
And so I thought, my son might be right about this. So I went and I looked it
Right.
up and I found a couple websites that said, yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
Then my son started showing me some YouTube atheists.
Right.
And the one that threw me, the one that was the straw that broke the camel's back,
Right.
was I was watching a video of a protest at Ark Encounter,
Right.
and it was Aaron Ra,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he said, "We know from biology, geology, history, and I forget what all, that the flood didn't happen."
Right.
And I looked at that banner that they had that said Incest and Genocide Park. And
Right.
when I first saw the banner, I was so angry. What do you mean incest and genocide park? I mean, the
Right.
flood wasn't yeah, I guess it was
It was
genocide,
yeah,
wasn't it?
right.
And
Yeah.
incest, yeah, I guess they kinda did have to commit incest out. They kinda have a point there. And then when
Yeah.
he said the thing about history, the light bulb went on.
Right,
I
okay.
said, "Not only do I know that he's right, I've always known that. I just
Right.
didn't realize it."
Yeah.
Because when I think about what I have studied about ancient Egypt, ancient China, ancient South America, never in a history course have I ever heard a teacher or professor say, "Okay, and then all of the civilization was wiped out because of a global flood,
Yeah.
and then they began again 100, 200 years later."
Right.
That isn't the way history goes.
Nope. Nope.
And yeah, so when he said that, I suddenly realized, God damn it, he's right. And that was it.
That's it.
That was the end of my faith.
And then you went on this journey and started meeting people and putting out content.
And the thing that convinced me to do my own content was I was watching Shannon Q,
Right.
who was saying how few female content creators there are.
Right. Yeah,
So I said,
absolutely.
"Hey, I'll give it a go."
Yeah. My wife would be great, if she did something because she is so smart. I learned so much. I've always said this. I'm not a very smart person. I'm just British, so I sound smart, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. I don't know any of the arguments. I don't know anything. I just point out why I think things are very silly, and that's my little niche. And I'm going to continue with that for as long as I can. My ex has a mini pig, and that was bad enough. I can imagine. Cows, all those cows. They had 2 elephants apparently on the ark, and the amount of poop. We've all seen that scene in Jurassic Park when Dr. Ian Malcolm walks up and goes, "Well, that's one big pile of whatever." That's from one triceratops. Elephants are bigger than that, so come on. There's no way. They're in suspended animation. Well, that would make way more sense, but not anywhere does it say that. So we can't accept that. Sorry, God. God equals the square root of minus. That's a great name. That's a very good name.
Oh, wow. Melody Joy, I am so honored. Aaron Ra has Matt Dillahunt on right now. I wanted to hang out with the granny and the skeptic. I am honored. Absolutely
Thanks, Melody.
honored.
Yeah, we're glad that you're here. We'll say your name and they won't. So, you're more welcome here. We'll look after you, Melody.
And Iconia Star says, don't forget that the elephants were the size of sheep.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Is that clearly written somewhere?
Well, Ken always insists that all of the animals on the ark were young adults.
Oh,
They were adolescents.
Fine.
The one problem with that theory is that most animals don't stay in an adolescent period for very long.
No, right.
The elephants and the gorillas would probably be about the only ones that would still be adolescents at the end of the journey if they were adolescents going in.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
the fruit flies would have been through several generations.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And there was only one window for ventilation as well, right? That's what's written on the build.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
one little window that was like a cubit or something. So it's like this big, that big. Okay, there's no way. There's no way.
Well, Ken Ham insists that yes, it was 1 cubit, but it was the entire length of the ark.
Well, then the roof would fall down, surely.
Well, he's got some small supports for the window.
Of course he
does.
He
basically has a small lifted roof.
Right. Even so.
Yeah. Even with that, he's also showing several decks.
Yeah.
There's no way the ventilation is going to get to the lower decks.
Those bottom animals, they would have been for it. Bless them. Never mind. Let's hope you put the elephants at the top with the dinosaurs or whatever it is, because I've seen pictures. Honestly, I desperately want to go. I just really, like I said earlier, don't want to pay. I don't want to pay any money. But I did meet some people. Was it last month, 2 months ago, at just a North Kentucky little convention, and they're the folks who regularly sort out organize the protests, and they said, yeah, we can get you some free tickets. So if they can, I'm going, and I'll video the whole thing. Snosberries taste like snus. Isn't that from that's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, isn't it? Or is it? No, it might be the BFG. I don't know. No, they're Snoscumbers. I'm getting all my Disneys and my everything mixed up.
It's from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, there you go. I thought it was one of those. Yeah. Snosberries. Fruit flies from the ark. Hey. Who would eat the ark first? The termites or the beavers? Well, I wouldn't think the beavers would need to eat the ark because they don't eat wood. They just make dams, right? So they wouldn't have needed to. So that's obvious. It would have been the termites. There you go.
Erica Gutsick Gibbon went to the ark and did you see that?
Yeah, I did. And I've collaborated with Erica. She's great. Yeah, I saw that she went. There have been a few people that have done it, but they check to see if you've got any recording equipment to make sure that you don't record when you go in.
I don't know, but she just used an ordinary phone.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
And she kind of kept an eye on security to make sure security didn't see what she was doing.
Right.
I also thought it was very clever of her to go in as a student.
Yeah, that's genius. Well, and she was a student, or no, she's graduated now, right? But at the time
she was a student, but I think she went in as being like 16 or under.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. She's a smart one. Her channel's amazing. I love it.
90% of what I know about primate evolution, I learned from Erica.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we need more content creators like her who just know their stuff. Just know what they're talking about.
One of the things that I so appreciated was her having Dr. Dan on
Mhm.
when I can't remember, somebody in the chat will remember the name of the book and the name of the author, but it was on genetics.
Right.
And it was, you remember which book I'm talking
I
about?
don't. No.
Okay. Okay. But
Just as we're getting to the good bit. I'm sure Granny's internet is just
the
waiting for her. There we go.
it's possible that the whole human race could have been um, evolved in 6,000 years.
Right.
And Dr. Dan read his book and
Right.
figured out what the problem was with his theory, and was able to get into a live stream with him and ask
Wow.
him point blank, are you using the mutation rate as the fixation rate?
Right.
And the guy said, yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
And so, of course, Dr. Dan tore that to shreds.
Yeah.
The
That's
idea that
brilliant.
every single gene that mutates becomes fixated in the species.
Right. Oh my word. That's brilliant. That's so good. Yeah, I love Erica's channel, and like you say, she's one of the good female creators. We do need more. We do need more. I mean, Emma Thorne, who's just gone over 100,000 subscribers. She's great. I wish Shannon would make more content because she doesn't make enough, and she knows her stuff. So yeah, we need some more. Come on.
One of the things that I did when watching one of Erica's episodes is she made the comment that that an author on a book that she was looking at had confused Ardipithecus ramidus
Right.
with Lucy.
Oh, Australopithecus
Australopithecus afarensis, yeah.
afarensis. Yeah.
And I thought, I've never even heard of Ardipithecus ramidus. So I looked up to see when was Ardipithecus ramidus discovered.
Right.
I said, now I understand why I've never heard of this. Because it was discovered in the 1990s, and the last time I took a science class was college biology in 1979.
Right.
And
Right.
that's one thing I kind of remind scientists is people like me who don't use science on a regular basis.
Sure.
You people in the YouTube community, you are my source
Right.
of everything that's happened since 1979.
Wow. I wasn't even born then. That's awkward. I wasn't even thought about for 4 years at that point. I'm sorry.
But it gives you an idea of why older people have a harder time understanding some of this because so many of these things were discovered after we finished school.
Yeah.
It was interesting Johnny said, I happened in 1979. Brian Stevens says, no comment.
No comment.
Melody Joy says, I was that year.
Oh, I'm so young all of a sudden. I feel like one of the oldest usually, but now, hey, I'm on the other side.
Yeah, my channel tends to be viewed by a lot of older people. But anyway, I had a conversation with my dad with regards to evolution, and he has never been an evolution denier.
Right.
But he was under the impression that we have very few fossils and that fossils are something, that we just most of what we have is theoretical.
Yeah.
That if we ever found the fossils, this is what they would show. And I was telling him, no, we've got truckloads of fossils. But you have to realize the last time that he took a science class was 1956.
Yeah, right.
And how many fossils did we have in 1956?
A handful, if that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's insane. Yeah, and you don't think about that. We're very lucky in this day and age that we have so much access to so much information, which I think is why it gets frustrating when people you calling me an older person. I think that's why it gets frustrating when people have such outlandish claims that they can't back up. There's all the information is there. Go and look for it. You shouldn't really have people like you and I saying this is why it's wrong and silly because X, Y, and Z. They should already know X, Y, and Z because the information's there. So I'm on a high horse now. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Sandy brings up one of my favorite jokes. Sandy says, Mark Caesar, yes, we are older people and darn proud of it too. I didn't think I was going to last this long.
Oh, I'm just going to sit back and watch this all unfold now. Where you lot are just going, well, I remember going to school with no shoes. You know, that may have been very offensive.
One of my favorite jokes is birthdays are good for you. People who have a lot of them live longer.
That's very true. They do. They do. You're quite right. Quite right. What was that comment about wanting to start a channel but not?
Sometimes I think it would be cool to start a YouTube channel, but then I'm like, others do it much better and have original thoughts. You know, that is one of the things that I thought at the beginning. And, you know, there are so many things that other people do better than me. I mean,
likewise, I get it.
You know, people know science better than I do. Paula Gia knows the technology so much better than I do.
Right.
But there's other things that I can get. And I have found that sometimes I will even respond to the exact same thing that somebody else does, but from a different perspective.
Exactly. I'm exactly the same.
And one of the things that I often have to share is a woman's perspective.
Right.
Paula Gia had a panel on recently, and they were talking about, he was responding to a panel that we're all talking about how great life is in Jesus. And, you know, if you just try it, you'll find out that, you know, Jesus is the answer. And, you know, we live all these joyful lives. And one of the points that Paula Gia missed that I brought up in the chat are.
Oh, we've lost her. We've lost her. So I'll jump in as well, just while she's sorting out her microphone. I think that I don't have anything new to add to the conversation ever. But like Granny, you offer your own new perspective, and I think of it as if I can just help one person like confirm what they already think. And that's my mentality is if I can I'm offering like an atheist confirmation bias. I think this because X. Oh, this person also thinks that way. Maybe I'm not wrong in what I think. So that's how I come at it. So if you might have the exact same opinion as someone else, they just might want to hear that opinion. So that's why it's a great idea to get on and make content.
Getting back to where I was before I accidentally kicked my microphone with my
Oh,
cast.
that's what that was.
Yeah. You know, Paula Gia was analyzing why somebody might not have the same experience in Jesus that these white male leaders were. And I said, you missed something. They're all white male leaders.
Right.
Of course, they had a wonderful experience. They're practically worshipped in these churches.
Right.
But what about the women, you know, that aren't even allowed into these positions?
Yeah. See, we can all add something. Even if you don't think you can, you will add something to the conversation. Just my advice is just do it. The trick to something that I've learned, here's a little YouTube tidbit, is to be consistent. That's all YouTube wants. You don't have to have amazing content. As long as you put it up very regularly, YouTube is going to love you and will push out your content. That's how I do it. I don't even have a lot to say some days, but I just make sure I post a video every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's it. And I've missed 2 weeks, and I missed those 2 weeks when I actually moved here because I had so much going on. I didn't have time to write a video, but when I came back, that was it. It took off. So be consistent. There you go.
Sometimes you can say the same thing, and what you said will click with some, what the other person said might not.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. When I first started watching atheist content, you know, of course I watched Aaron Ra first because his was the one that broke that straw. But when I started watching his contests, I couldn't understand what he said.
Right.
the vocabulary was beyond me. So
Yeah,
I watched Vice, Rhino, and Pelagia until I learned the vocabulary, and then I
right.
went back to Arn Ra.
Got it. I used to, well, I still do. I still religiously watch the Atheist Experience, but I watched that probably I probably started in 2013, 2014 watching the Atheist Experience. And it got to the point, I'm like I said earlier, I'm a runner. I wear headphones and listen to podcasts whilst I run, and I would listen to Atheist Experience shows. And as I'm running, we'll shout out loud the argument and why I don't accept it. And then I'd be confirmed by Matt Dillahunty or whoever else was on the show. And I'd go like, oh, I'm starting to get this. I'm starting to understand what's being said here. So that's how I got into it. Doing it. I loved Aaron Ra. Yes. His voice is soothing. He's such a nice man.
Vice Rhino brought up a point and didn't explain it today in the video that I watched of his today. It came out yesterday.
Right.
And he was talking about redshift.
Mm-hmm.
I went, what on earth is redshift?
Right.
So I went and looked up a video, and I watched a video on redshift, and that is so cool. But
yeah,
I said, I don't understand it well enough that if someone asked me to explain it to them, I could not do it.
No.
But I was really surprised that he didn't give a little bit more explanation of what is redshift.
And this is why I love all this community that we have, because yes, we're essentially we're joined in our lack of belief in a God, but there's so much more to learn outside of that from each other. And that's I consume YouTube. There's so much more on YouTube than there is on TV, and I watch that more than anything else now. Yeah, I live on this silly website that gives us so much.
I watch YouTube and atheism for breakfast,
right,
and for lunch.
Yeah, okay.
But almost never in the evening.
Okay.
And it's because my husband is still a believer.
Okay.
Now, if there's a show on that I really want to see that's live at night, I'll plug in my headphones so he can't hear it, and I'll go ahead and watch it.
Sure.
But for the most part, I only watch it at breakfast and lunch, Monday through Friday, and I don't watch it when he's around.
Okay. And how is that with him being a believer? Does it ever come up in conversation, or is it just something you don't talk about?
It's something we don't talk about.
Okay.
Which is in a way, it's kind of funny, because before I became an atheist, I talked about it all the time.
Right.
I mean, I was always the one that was driving the train. We had to be at church every time the doors were open. I sang in the choir. I taught Sunday school. I taught VBS. I taught a home Bible study. I did it all.
Wow.
It was my life. And when I stopped talking about it, I suddenly realized, he was never with me. I mean, he always came along because
sure, he's supportive and
right. And now he's always believed it.
Okay.
It's not that he didn't believe it. He's always believed it, and he still does.
Mm-hmm.
But he just didn't see any need to do all of that.
Sure.
I do know that early in our marriage, he did once ask me, can't we just be pew sitters? And I was like, why? What's the fun in that?
Yeah, right. And is he a pew sitter now? Does he just turn up? Yeah, there you go. He got his wish then. There you go.
Well, COVID has really been something, because he hasn't been to church since.
Oh, wow.
He goes in his room and he watches his church service on his computer.
Oh, wow.
And then when he's done, he comes out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and I do watch Atheist Contest on Sunday morning while he's watching his church service.
Sure. There you go. That's only fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, but Objectively Dan, Help Wanted, Atheist Experience,
Talk Heathen.
Talk Heathen.
Yeah.
All of those shows don't come on until later.
Right.
I have to get something that's going to be over by 11:30 in the morning.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Right. That's fair. There's some good shows out there as well, and there's some talented folks that just post regular videos anyway. You don't need to watch them live necessarily.
One of my favorites is Stephen Woodford, Rationality Rules.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I learned so much from him.
He's smart.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's the British guy with the shaved head but the long hair on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's British, but is also smart at the same time. So he's the opposite to me. He's the absolute opposite.
I often will have to stop his videos and back them up and listen to
Right.
it again because I
Yeah.
don't get it the first time.
And Google the words that he's saying. Yeah.
Most
No,
of the
I'm
time
with you
I've
there.
got the words. Most
Oh,
of the
okay.
time.
I don't.
But I also love that he does a recap at the end because
Right.
every now and then I missed something entirely.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's great, and I love the different styles that are out there, because you can, again, this goes back to the to wanting to make content. There are so many different styles out there that you could take little parts of it and make it your own without worrying about, oh, I'm copying that person. You're not at all. SkepTick is a hilarious YouTuber, and he lives behind a cartoon version of himself, this Holy Knight. So I'd seen that and I applied it to my channel with the floating circle that, you know, is there. Plus it's very easy to edit. When I first started, I just would throw it through this animation program, chuck it up. I didn't do any edits or anything. I just spliced in the video. It used to take me an hour to edit a video. Now it takes me a week because I put so much into it now. I put text and I put graphics and I put stuff up on the screen, and I like to write my video for a couple of days and make sure the script's just right and how, you know, make sure I'm happy with it. So yeah, it's a process now, but yeah, back in the day, back when I first started, an hour a week, done. I wish it was those days. But I actually, I love the amount of time that I put into it. And I've turned this into SkepTick is the best. In my last week's video, I used a little animation of SkepTick and called him evil. So I don't know if you've seen that yet. Have I seen? Was that a costumed version of SkepTick? Is that what that said? Was it from Johnny?
Yeah, he said,
Yeah.
have you seen Sir Six costume version?
I haven't seen that. So what, a live action version, but of him in a costume? That would be brilliant. That would be good.
I recently did a video where I used an audio clip that Mage Greywolf did for me. We were talking about the Venus flytrap, and and Mage Greywolf's area of expertise is gardening.
Okay.
And I tried to put a talking circle around him.
Right.
But I didn't want it to look like I was copying your talking circle. So I made mine green and I made it much thicker.
Right.
But when I tried to animate it, I could not get it to animate right. So I got rid of the circle.
Now I cheat and I pay for something to do it. I've got a website that I use. And when I first started the channel, I was making money on my other channel, so I used that to kind of fund the SkepTick. And I wasn't making very much on that other channel at all. And what I made paid for the ring that I use, and it's a program online. And you just upload the audio, you pick how you want the animation to look, and that includes green screen background. So I put a green screen background over this or under this ring, send it through, and within 5 minutes it's processed all of the audio for my part, and I just download that and put it into Final Cut and then chop it up and put it into the right places and chroma key out the green screen so it becomes this transparent thing. So yeah, I cheat.
Oh, I don't think that's cheating at all.
So that's fine. It's only, and it's something like $18 a month is what I pay to use this animated ring, and I can have up to 120 minutes of audio. So there you go. I learned a lot about the Venus flytrap. Helping, nice. That's cool. So yeah, there you go. So I might be a slight cheat, and I know other people like Paul Ogia. He animates his own characters. He does all that by himself, and it must take him hours. Or there are programs that do it for him, I guess.
I am in a chat room that he started that is for tech talk for YouTubers.
Oh no! And again, at the pivotal moment when we're just about to get that nugget of information.
Yeah, he's talked about some of the programs he uses, and they are extremely complicated. But he did this for a living before he started YouTube.
Right. So yeah, and that's using those things to their advantage. So this is like I do voiceovers for a living, so that's why I made the SkepTick a voice only channel, because it's easier for me to edit that.
It is.
I mean, visual wise, it's like editing audio. So
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with it. And I know that Emma Thorne, she's an animator. She works on big movies as an animator, so that's why her
Mm.
channel does well, because she's taken that and applied it to her own stuff. So it is just use the skills that you've got and apply it to your own channel, and you'll go far. You will go far.
Even though I do mine live, I do it sitting in my rocking chair,
Hmm.
and I don't move a whole lot while I'm talking. So
Right.
when I'm editing, I can do jump cuts, and there's a lot of jump cuts that you can't see
Oh,
because
really?
I haven't moved.
That's insane. That's amazing. Jump
Mhm.
cuts are our friends as well. That a lot of people don't realize that jump cuts are the way to do it. Because you
Mhm.
get a lot of people who start out on YouTube and they'll do these fades, and it takes too long, and that's not what YouTube is. It's quick content. They just want lots of stuff instantly. So jump cuts are your friend if ever you're
Mhm.
starting. Yeah. Yeah. It's good times on this website. I love it. And I could talk about it for hours. And I apologize for talking about it so much.
Hey, don't, not at all. We in another live stream that I had, I was talking someone into how to start their channel.
Oh, okay.
Um, the way I got started, I took John and Casey out to dinner and asked them,
Right.
"How do you do it?"
Oh, really?
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm,
that's nice. Because yeah, you said you're fairly close to those two.
mhm, mhm.
They're
I
just
took
as
them to the
sweet.
best steakhouse in town, and that
Hey,
was their
listen,
pay for the time of them telling me what to do and how to do
that is well done. Good on you. That's how you do it. Bribery.
it. I looked at more as fair wages.
Right.
Yeah, if I had come to them as a consultant,
Yeah.
but the steak dinner I bought them was about the same of what I would have paid as a consultant's fee.
There you go then. That makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm,
And who doesn't like steak?
mhm.
So,
Well, my
yeah.
son doesn't. He's a
Well, and you know
vegetarian.
what? I don't either. I gave up beef a few years ago, but I did love steak when I ate it.
Although this particular steakhouse is actually one of my son's favorite restaurants
Oh, is it? Oh, there you go.
because they have the best mashed potatoes and
Right.
they have a spinach strawberry salad that is to die for. So
Nice.
whenever we eat at that restaurant, my son has mashed potatoes and spinach strawberry salad.
Sounds perfect. How does he feel with you? I mean, because you said he's a non-believer, so
Mhm.
how is he with you being a content creator? Does he know about it? Does he get involved? I'm gonna guess yes, because she's frozen again. Let's
Okay.
hope so.
I assume the question was gonna be, how does he feel about me being an unbeliever?
Well, no, how does he feel about you being a content creator and talking
Ah.
about and does he get involved with you doing it? Oh, we lost her again. And again, I'm gonna say yes. Oh, there we go. She's back.
Um, he loves it.
Does he
For
really?
yeah. If you watch the any of my scripted videos at the end of the credits, it says special consultant Robin. That's my son.
Oh, oh, nice.
Um, because I consult with him about all kinds of things. What my son is transgender, so
Oh,
anytime I do a video on the transgender community, I always send him the script to make sure I don't have any faux
oh,
pas in there.
sure.
Um, I
Oh, no. Just as we're getting to the juicy stuff.
I'm not oops.
Oh, there we go.
Eh, so in this last video, I had some music under it,
Mhm.
and I played America the Beautiful under a point that I was making that was I really wanted to emphasize. I thought, "Is that too cheesy?" So I sent the video to Robin and I said, "Is this too cheesy? Is there too much music?" And also, at the end, I used some music from the original video that I was responding to, and then had to blend that into my own. And I wasn't sure I did a good job of blending and
Right,
not knowing music. I said, it sounds fine to me, but I don't know.
right.
Robin listened to it and said, "It was perfect, Mom."
Oh,
He said,
nice.
the amount of music was perfect. Yeah, it was a tad cheesy, but sometimes there's room for cheese.
Right. I,
Mm.
I hope you don't mind me prying, but when did Robin transition? Was it before you were
It was
became
after.
atheist? Oh, it was after. Okay,
Mhm.
and so you obviously being a non-believer took it better, I guess, than maybe your husband would have, or
Yes, but I still was not that good.
okay,
A big part of it is he is still a young adult.
okay,
And to me, young adults, a big part of young adult life is searching for who you are.
Sure.
And so that's what I took this as is,
Oh, okay.
this is part of you searching for who you are. And if you end
Right.
up here, fine. And if if this is just a phase, fine. But I didn't take it as seriously as he would have liked, because I looked at it
Right.
as more of this is a young adult thing.
Okay. Right. Oh, that's got to be difficult to deal with.
Hmm. Hmm.
For everybody, not just for Robin, but for everyone.
One thing that really paved the way for Robin, and I never would have been able to deal with the what I Robin coming out
Hmm.
if it had not been for Hutch.
Okay.
Robin and Hutch have been best friends since probably freshman year of high school.
Right.
And Hutch knew that he was trans even at like 13, 14 years old.
Right.
And he came out to his parents, who totally rejected him.
Oh, that's a
Um,
shame.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's why he's my artist. Um,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, nice.
So Robin telling me about the problems that Hutch had trying to live with a family that rejects him, will not accept him for who he is, helped me to understand what the problems were
Right.
even before Robin said, "You know what? I'm trans too."
Right.
Um, Robin didn't consider himself trans in the beginning because Robin never experienced dysphoria.
Sure.
He listened to all the things that people said about gender dysphoria and said, "That's not me."
Right.
But then he heard someone talking about gender euphoria,
Okay.
and he said, "That is me,"
Huh.
which is, Robin doesn't look at his body and say, "I can't stand this." But
Right.
anytime anyone acknowledges Robin as male, Robin feels an absolute euphoria.
Oh, wow.
And that because it's affirming to him, and so that's when he realized, yeah, I really am trans. I just
Wow.
didn't realize it at first.
That's so cool. Well,
Mhm.
it's great that he's got support for where he needs it, which is good on you. Well done.
Johnny Rapine asked if it was Sizzler that had the best mashed potatoes this side of the Mississippi. I disagree. It's Connor's Steakhouse.
Oh, okay. I don't know any of these places. We don't
Yeah,
have
well,
those in the
Connor's
UK.
Steak, and that's part of the reason why I didn't mention it. Connor's does have a couple locations in other places, but not very
Mhm.
many. I think they have like 4. I
Oh,
think
okay.
there's one in Atlanta, Georgia, but yeah, it's not a big chain.
Right. It's like I've learned that Piggly Wiggly doesn't have very many stores, but it's a great place to go. And I went to one in South Carolina. There you go. Piggly
Now,
Wiggly.
I grew up with Piggly Wiggly.
Did you really? Oh no! See, this is a thing that isn't in the UK. We don't have Piggly Wiggly, but
There
it
was a
seems like everybody loves a Piggly Wiggly, and there should be more of them around.
Mhm.
That's what I've learned.
One thing that was funny for us, Piggly Wiggly was about a mile and a half from our house if you walked the road, if you took the road.
Okay.
It was about 3/4 of a mile if you took the shortcut through Patton's farm.
Huh. Okay.
There was this one farm that was located so that if you went through the farm, you cut out a whole section of, where you had to go through this neighborhood to get to the store.
Was it trespassing, or was that? Were you
That
allowed
was
to?
that was a question we always kind of had, because there was a sign up that said no trespassing,
Right.
but there was also a pond that was in front of the farm, and they always
Oh.
maintained it for us so that we could go ice skating there.
Huh.
And they never complained about anyone being on their property. If I
Okay.
very rarely saw anybody outside there.
Okay.
But when we did, nobody ever said anything. So
Right.
I don't think they ever cared about kids. Yeah, there was a truck path
Right.
that came up the driveway, went past the house, and then connected to that other street behind them. That was this
Right.
huge shortcut. And so it's not like we were going through the grass or anything. We just went on the truck path.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so it's not really trespassing if there's a path there. You're fine. Well, you never got in trouble because you're here now, so there you go.
Well, actually, now the farm is gone, and there is a road there where that truck path used to
Oh,
be.
okay. Oh, okay. They made it more a bit safer for everyone. Gave them more reason to use the road.
Yep. Yep. Mark Caesar says there's much more to learn about trans issues.
Right.
You might want to listen to Robin's rant. I had originally planned on trying to do a scripted video this week, and I realized I can't do it. I've got to keep my foot elevated. I can't sit with my foot down long enough to do it. I could do the recording. That's not the
Right.
problem. The problem is sitting up long enough to write the script and long enough to edit, and I
Right.
can't do that. But Robin, it was funny, read something that really made him angry, and he said, "Do you mind if I take over your channel for this week?" And I said, "Have at
Oh,
it."
wow. So, and was that must have been a recent one? Hopefully that'll be.
So Rob,
Oh, there we are.
you should see the position that I saw your mouth frozen into.
Well, do I want to know?
Oh, it was just funny because it was.
That sounds about right. I've got a very animated face.
Well, you were in the process of saying, "Oh, wow."
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, I need to see that video. You said it was out or it's coming out?
It's coming out.
Okay.
He hasn't even finished the script yet, but I'm
Oh.
hoping he'll finish it this week. If not, it'll come out early next week.
Great. Oh, I look forward to that. That'd be cool. Nice one. Nice one.
Well, we are getting close to the end of our time. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we haven't covered yet?
I feel like I've just been talking nonstop, and I feel like I apologize to your audience for being so noisy.
Don't. That's what you're here for. That was what you were here for.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I think we covered everything.
Okay.
We got the arc in there. We got that I live in Kentucky. We're done. We're done.
Okay, I'm going to wrap us up a little bit early because I'm starting to get uncomfortable myself.
Oh, bless you.
That's okay. I'm okay. I had a great time. I have missed everybody, and so I was really glad to be able to do this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do another stream next week, and I'll probably do a scripted video next week as well. I think I should have that swelling down by then. And then I'll be able to sit up better.
Rice? Is it raise ice compression elevation? Something. I don't know.
I don't know that one.
I don't know. Maybe
the one that I learned was in a first aid course was the 4 B's of life: breathing, bleeding, broken bones, and burns.
Okay.
In that order.
Right.
Are they breathing? Are they bleeding? Do they have any broken bones? Are they burned?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Breathing, I think, would be the most important one. And I've seen it firsthand where someone stopped breathing and died. There was no blood, fortunately.
I gave CPR to a person that was not breathing, but
oh wow,
it was an infant.
Oh,
and as soon as they handed me the infant, I knew the infant was already dead.
Oh, no.
The body was already cold.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrific. But you still probably had to try CPR just to show that.
Exactly, because one of the things they really hammered home to us is you are not qualified to pronounce anyone dead.
Oh, wow.
And so I gave CPR to this baby that I knew was dead until the paramedics arrived. And it was funny, as soon as the paramedics arrived, I was so relieved. I stopped, and the paramedics said, "No, keep going.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and that's horrific. And that's going to be mentally scarring as well.
The even more horrific yet, I was working as a volunteer at a shelter for battered women. And the child died of SIDS in the shelter.
Oh no. Oh wow. It's just wow, there's no words. There's nothing you can say to that. That's wow. Right. Well,
that's on that happy note,
a positive note. Let's say goodbye.
Actually, I know how to get us back on a positive note. Does Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe have any words for us?
Just if you have something, if you don't have anything nice to say, then pray it away with a leaf. is what she'd say. I don't know. No, she would just say, "Leaf be upon you," and live a nice, positive life. Ask questions, and if that question's answer doesn't require regards, you're probably on the right path. That's what she'd say.
Oh gosh, that's hard.
Oh
That's
wow,
really tough.
we were meant to be bringing it back. Oh,
Yeah.
that's horrid. Okay,
Mm.
wow.
I do have one more question for you with regards to Lisa.
Yeah,
Um, have you ever had a response from a Muslim person with regards to the leaf be upon you?
not a current practicing Muslim, but the ex-Muslims that watch my videos
Mhm.
always say how much they appreciate it.
Oh, cool.
And they're the ones who like it the most. But no, I've not had anybody say anything. And I've said "leaf be upon you" to people in the real life, in the real world, because some people do say "have a blessed day," and I'm like, well, "leaf
Mhm,
be upon
mhm,
you," because
mhm,
I don't want to be overly offensive. And it's just like "leaf be upon you" has as much meaning as "have a blessed day." So I
mhm,
say that to them, and it's fine. There you go.
mhm.
"Leaf be upon you all." Thanks, Stella.
And with that, I want to thank everyone for coming in the chat. It has been an absolute wonderful time. And thank you, John. This has just been an absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic conversation.
I've loved it. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.